on. If you're interested in our trainings, there's an event called Access Love. If you look at our website, it'll give you all the directions of how to sign up and be in a drawing for a substantial discount on the trainings. And then the last thing is, maybe you have heard that our community has created a nonprofit that goes out in partnership with other community organizations and brings yoga classes to areas of our community where otherwise it wouldn't be there, disadvantaged populations. Like the Lancaster County Prison, for example. They've just opened up visitors, so I'm sure we'll go back there and teach again. And we're doing a fundraiser, and this fundraiser is one of our most fun fundraisers, so I definitely want you to know about it. It is a St. Patrick's Day celebration. It's called Eggs and Kegs. And so it's held at Springhouse Brewery on Hazel Street, and the fee is a $35 donation. And for that donation, you receive a t-shirt, part of the breakfast buffet, and a beer, because who doesn't need a beer with their eggs? And it's on Saturday the 20th from 10 to 2. So you could come and take class and go right over there. But at 11 a.m., there'll be some Irish dancers for entertainment. So it is always a lot of fun. As soon as the t-shirts come in, you'll definitely want to sign up and get one of those really cute t-shirts and join us at the Springhouse Brewery. All right, let's get started with yoga today. Child's pose. Toes together, knees open, arms forward on your forehead down to your mat. So just get your body stretched out. Now, over the years, there'll be times when the heater breaks or we're practicing somewhere else and it's not as warm as you're used to. And that is still fine in that your way of moving and breathing is enough to build an inner fire. And so it starts with your breath. This kind of breath we breathe is called Ujjayi breath, and it really does translate into victorious breath or a breath of fire. So take a deep breath in and exhale through your mouth. Slow, steady, deep, rhythmic, and regular with your breath now. While you're breathing, start to set your body up physically. The first few poses are to integrate, and then we move into awakening poses. But start with awakening even right away. Aware of your foundation, press your palms into the mat. Have a drishya, place you're pointing your attention, because it has this way of like concentrating and building just this combustion inside. So have your gaze set throughout the practice today. And then bring a little bit more to your breath, a little more volume until you can hear and feel yourself breathing, and that you can hear and feel the whole room breathing. On your next inhale, lift your body up into downward facing dog. Set your gaze at the back center of your mat. Then work with your foundation, your hands and feet, and your core. Really bring the breath. Press the knuckle of your pointer finger down into the mat. When you inhale, tippy toe. As you exhale, bend your knees to hover down at ankle height. Then inhale, lift your hips up high. Exhale, press your heels down toward the mat. Again, inhale and tippy toe. Match your breath and movements. Exhale, bend your knees and hover. Inhale, lift your hips up high. Exhale, press your heels down. One more time. Inhale, tippy toe. Exhale, bend your knees and hover. Inhale, lift your hips up high. Exhale, press your heels down. Take a breath in. On the exhale, look forward, move up to the front of your mat. When you arrive, inhale, lift up halfway, and exhale, hang. Be purposeful with your feet as you breathe and start to wake up the back side of your body in this ragdoll pose. You can sway from side to side if you'd like. And then anchor your heels deep down into your mat. Once you really feel like your heels, the whole of your feet are pressing down and anchored, shift your hips forward and deepen the intensity in the back of your legs. Deepen the intensity until you have this quality of having to breathe. Hips forward another little inch. You feel that in the back of your thighs? Take another breath. Exhale. Then press your feet down into the mat. Come rolling up to standing. Sweep your arms overhead. Hands into prayer position at the center of your chest and pause. Set your gaze. Set an intention for the practice. 3 times we'll chant Om. Take a deep breath in. Inhale and reach up. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Lift up halfway. Low plank as you exhale. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now 3 breaths here. Breathe in and a long breath out. 2 more. Inhale. Press your hips back as you exhale. 1 more breath. On the exhale, bend your knees and look forward. Jump to your hands. Halfway lift, breathe in and fold. Press your feet into the ground and stand up. Reach up and back. Fold to the floor, exhale. Inhale, halfway lift, low plank, empty. Then upward facing dog, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Spread your fingers out. Squeeze each fingertip to the mat. 1 more breath. Bend your knees on the exhale. Jump to your hands. Halfway lift and fold. Press into the mat. Stand up. Stretch back. Fold to the floor. Halfway lift. Low plank as you exhale. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Now, as you look back at your feet, organize them so they're parallel to one another. For a lot of us, that means open your heels a little bit wider. Then take your last breath. On the exhale, bend your knees and get ready to move. Jump to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. 1 more time. Stand up. Stretch back. Fold to the floor. Halfway lift. Low plank. Empty and hover. Then inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. You got 3 breaths here. It's okay to soften your knees a little bit so that you can drag your hips up and back. Once more, breathe in. Bend your knees on the exhale and jump. Halfway lift, fold. Chair pose, sit back and reach your arms high, then fold to the floor. Halfway lift, drop to the low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward and lunge. Anchor the back edge of your back foot to the mat, then hands to the floor. Low push up. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Left foot forward and lunge. Again, a flat back foot and reach. Hands to the floor, low push up. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Breathe here. So while we're awakening the practice as a whole, it's going to be a little messy. 1 more time. Breathe in. On the exhale, bend your knees, then jump. Halfway lift, fold. Chair pose, sit and reach, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, low plank, and hover. Then upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right foot forward. Take a long stride and a deep lunge. Hands to the floor, low push up. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, left side step. Reach up and go back. Hands to the floor, low push up. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. For some of you, this pace will feel fast. For others, it will feel slow. And as we warm up, we'll gradually start to work together. One more time, breathe in. Exhale, bend your knees, jump. Halfway lift, forward fold, chair pose. Sit deep into your heels, fold to the floor. Half lift, low push-up, step or drop, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right foot forward. A patient but urgent, hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Left side, step and reach. Hands to the floor, chaturanga, empty and hover. Then inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now just watch your breath as you breathe here. Check out whether you take a full and complete exhale. Empty completely. Now one more time, breathe in. On the exhale, bend your knees, jump. Half lift, fold. Chair pose, sit, inhale and reach, and slow, steady exhale. Halfway lift, low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right foot forward and lunge. Deepen your lunge and get a deeper stretch. Hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Left side, step and lunge, reach up. Hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, breathe. Hopefully you're starting to deepen and smooth out the edges of your breath and your poses, taking away those short and choppy motions and getting these long, fluid stretching motions. Let's do one more breath here. When you exhale, bend your knees, then jump. Last time here, halfway lift, fold. Chair pose, sit and reach, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, low plank and empty, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right foot forward, deep and long reach, hands down, chaturanga, stretch your body as you exhale. Upward dog, downward dog, left side, reach up and go back, hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Maybe take a deep breath, maybe a sigh. Raise your right leg into the air, bend your knee, heel to your hip, flip the pose over until 2 feet are on the floor. You might sit down and just spin around and set yourself up. And then for everyone, press your feet and hand down, but reach up to the ceiling. So if you feel like you're sitting heavy in your left shoulder, and most people are, press your hand into the floor and come up out of that shoulder. Good. I see a couple of changes there. One more breath here. Then side plank, right hand to the mat. Turn and face the long left side. And then if you want to add a little bit of fire to the pose, take your bottom leg and hug your knee into your chest on the bottom leg, and then reach it straight out in front of you. Straight out in front of you. That's it. And hold it right there. Turn your chest to the ceiling and breathe. 3 more breaths. 2 more breaths, chest open. Last breath, high plank to low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Now the left leg in the air, bend your knee, open your hip. Flip the pose over, 2 feet to the floor. Really put some attention on your right shoulder. And whether you think it's hugging to your ear or open, still try to open it a little more because it's probably got a little more space. And then reach and stretch with your left hand. Another breath. Side plank, left hand to the mat, turn and face the long right side of the mat. Now the bottom leg. Hug your knee into your chest on the bottom leg and extend it forward like you're kicking your heel away from you. You've got it right here. Chest to the ceiling. 3 more breaths. 2 more breaths. Last breath. Hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward for crescent lunge. Crescent lunge is the one where you stand on the ball of your back foot. Arms overhead. Breathe right here. Maybe take a moment to just take a deep breath and a sigh and just settle your system a little bit. Then go down deep and low in this lunge. Powerful back leg. Get so low on your legs that both of them feel on fire. Then pull yourself out of your legs. So the whole front of this right leg, the back leg, is stretching, and go up and go back. There should be nothing about your body that looks casual right now. Everything about it should look like it's on fire, working to its maximum. Does every part of your body feel that way? One more breath to breathe. Reach. Hands to prayer and twist. Left elbow to your right knee. Once you get your elbow placed, take a breath in. And when you exhale, pull the pit of your belly into your body. So your whole system gets longer and leaner. Then you can open your arms, reach for the floor, and reach for the ceiling. You may wrap your top arm behind your back. If when it gets wrapped behind your back, you feel yourself like crouching around, press your back heel back and stretch the notch of your neck to the front of your space so your whole body's long and lean. One more inhale, one more exhale, then crescent lunge, reach up, warrior two. So front knee, bend it and point it in the same direction as your toes. On the back foot, maybe pick your heel up and swing it more to the back end of your mat so your toes angle in and lunge down low. Check it out. Feel what you feel in your body. If you don't really feel your back leg working, do something differently. Maybe lunge deeper or angle your back foot a little more. Then pull your arms apart and lunge deeper. Keep the deeper lunge and tilt for extended side angle. Stay down there low in the lunge and let your hips start to warm up. If you've got it in you, deepen the lunge a little more. And then just focus on your arms. Pull your arms apart and let your legs work. Breathe right here. Deep, deep lunge. 3 more breaths. Bend your knee a little more. 2 more. Turn your chest to the ceiling. Stay for 1 more breath. Then hands to the floor, low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot forward for crescent lunge. So we're working the biggest muscles in our body right now. When we really take them into full action in the pose, we build heat in the body. So are you starting to get warm? If not, lunge deeper. If not, activate your back leg. Go down low in the pose. So go down low means forward, like you feel your pose coming into your front foot more. And then pull yourself out of the back foot. Can you feel that pulling? Then pull up and pull back. This is a pose in a section of the sequence called vitality. It really should have this sense of being plugged in, electrified, and the whole thing on fire. Deep, deep lunge, reach up and go back. Hands to prayer and twist. Right elbow to your left knee. Press your palms together and twist. If you are going for it, open your arms. Top arm behind your back. And then in your felt sense, move your intuition through your body, and if there's any space of the pose that feels dull, activate that spot. Through activating one spot, your whole body gets activated and the whole room gets activated. One more inhale. Stay here and exhale patiently, then reach up, crescent lunge, warrior two. Sometimes when your legs start getting on fire, it's hard to be patient with that last exhale. Lunge down. Go along with the pose if you feel like it's short and there's no room to lunge. Check out both of your legs. Do you experience both of them working? If not, what would it take to experience your back leg and your front leg evenly working? Get even lower. Then pull your arms apart. Keep that and tilt. Breathe. Fire in your back foot so that both sides of your torso, the underside especially, are getting long all the way up into your armpits. A little deeper in the lunge and a little more power in your upper arm. Take yourself to what you think is the edge of the pose for you. And then right there in the edge of the pose, breathe. 3 more breaths. You've got this. Do anything for 2 more breaths. And then there's just one. Hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take 1 breath in and out. Look forward. Jump up to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Chair twist to the right. Sit deep into your heels. Hands to prayer and twist. Right elbow outside of your right knee. Set the pose up. And take it deeper if that's what's available to you today. Maybe with the bird of paradise, the side crow pose. Or open your arms here in the standing chair pose. Wherever you are, squat down deep. And then for everyone, breathe into your chest and upper back. Whole thing expansive, all the way into your chest and upper back. Jordan, sit deeper. You got it right there. One more inhale here. One more exhale. Then chair pose. Forward fold. You can hook your big toes with your middle and index finger. Move your feet apart. Sometimes you look around the room and the feet are really narrow. Just a little bit more challenging to get stability like that. You can take a sigh and let your head just hang down heavy toward the floor. Reach your chest toward your toes. If you feel like the weight of your body is settling in the outer edge, the baby toe edge of your foot, press the knuckle of your big toe down and just see what you see in your lower back from doing that. One more breath. Take crow pose, hands on the floor, knees on the outsides of your armpits. So you make a diamond shape with your legs and put your knees on your outer arms and tilt forward. You might just be practicing putting the weight into your fingers today. You might be lifting your feet up. Breathe here for 3 breaths now. When you exhale, press more into the floor. 2 more. Press into the floor. And then on this last one, chest forward, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. 1 breath in and out. Jump to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Chair twist. Sit back. Hands to prayer. Twist to the left now. Right elbow to your left knee. Take a moment to sit deep and stretch your whole body long, and then see where you can go on this side. You just follow the direction of your breath and your body. Whichever pose you choose, once you get to the final pose, it's a breath to be soft and easy in the pose. Expand your chest and upper back. 2 more breaths. Last one. Chair pose. Forward fold. Open your feet hip width distance and stand on your palms. Gorilla pose. Shake your head out. So you have the opportunity to be dialing up and down the intensity of the energy breath by breath, but never turning it totally off. With that, that means your attention is positioned and chosen each breath. One more breath here. Crow pose, second set. Hands on the floor, knees on the outsides of your arms. If you're in the crow pose and it feels comfortable and easy and you want a next step challenge, you could work it with straight arms, and it's called crane pose. Whatever you're choosing to do, 3 more breaths. A little more kick at them. 2 more breaths. There you go, a little harder. Last breath, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Have a sigh. 1 more time. Inhale. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward, and jump to your hands. Half lift. Forward fold. Press your feet into the mat and roll up to standing. You can sweep your arms overhead. Right arm under the left for eagle pose. Once you cross your arms, cross your forearms and bring your palms together. Squat down, right leg over your left leg. Maybe tuck your toes behind your calf muscle. Now set your gaze, steady breathing. Step out and switch sides. Left arm under your right, left leg over your right leg. Second side. Keep your breath flowing. 1 more breath here. Step out, right side for a second set. Right arm under, right leg over. Just keep the breath going. If you don't hear it anymore in your section of the room, take a sigh and then build it again. Then on your next inhale, step out, left side, left arm under, left leg over. On your inhale, step out, hug your right knee into your chest, hold the foot, and extend your heel forward, stand tall. Keep your steady gaze, and then just work with what starts showing up in your body breath by breath. You can just press all four corners of your standing foot down into the mat. The knuckle of your big toe will probably be a key anchor point. Once that's pressing into the mat, you can pull the top of your head up to the ceiling equal and opposite, and just that force of equal and opposite will cause balance. One more breath, and on the exhale, move your toes closer to the ceiling. Then hug your knee into your chest, airplane pose. Start already with your chest opening. Reach for the pose. So instead of just kind of be in the pose and then reach out, as you go into it, be reaching for the edges of it. That's it. Toes alive, fingers alive, lifted leg alive. Even your belly. That's a tricky part in this pose. Keep breathing. Press your standing foot down into the mat until the pit of your belly lifts. Those two go together. Foot down, belly up. One more breath to work with that. Hands to prayer position. Press them together. Half moon. Left fingertips to the floor, right arm to the ceiling. You can bend your top knee and catch your top ankle if that's available. That's it. And then open up your chest. Keep on breathing here. You've got 3 more breaths. 2 more breaths. Relax your shoulder back. That's it. 1 more breath. Reach to the half moon if you've got the bind. Forward fold and hang. You got it. Sway from side to side. Come on up to standing and hug your left knee into the chest. Right away, set your gaze, gather up your knee, let your hips get level, and then hold your foot and extend. Steady, steady gaze. Keep your breath flowing. See how easy it is for in these transitions for your breath just to go away. That might be a key part of upgrading your practice, to put your attention on the transitions for the next few weeks and see if you can keep a steady breath throughout the movements. On your last exhale, ease your toes more toward the ceiling, then hug your knee into your chest, airplane pose. So airplane pose like it's an explosion from your core out to your fingertips and toes. Even your shoulders, you can move those up to the ceiling. Yeah, that's it, Jody. Right here, open. You got it. Press, that's it. Press your standing foot down and lift the pit of your belly. You can press even in your shoulder. Hands to prayer position, press your palms together, gain your center line. Half moon, right arm down, left arm up. If you feel you're losing your balance, set your gaze and concentrate on your breathing, and then reach away from your center with all of your limbs. You are welcome to bend your top knee and catch your top ankle for the sugarcane pose. And then wherever you are, 3 more breaths. Try to soften and open your shoulders. 1 more breath. If you're holding your foot, extend to the half moon and forward fold and hang. Come rolling up to standing and sweep your arms overhead. Right arm behind you with your palm facing out. Bend your right knee, hold your ankle from the inside. So your shoulder will be rolling back. That's it, Caroline. Good. Reach for the ceiling. Then start stretching into the pose. Get that point where you've got so much stretch forward and back going on. And when you're there at your maximum, have a sigh and soften your whole body and stretch into the space you created. And then once you've got all of that, drive a foot down and drive a foot up. Take yourself to what is the edge of the pose for you. Steady gaze and steady breath, especially if there's movement in your area. Now 5 more breaths. Work through these breaths. Whole body active. You've got 3 more. Stay with it. You got it. You got it. 2 more. Last one. Full expression right here. Step out, feet on the floor. Set your gaze and put your hands on your hips for just a moment and breathe. Let yourself just settle. Left side. Roll your left shoulder back. Bend your knee and hold your ankle from the inside. Right arm in the air. So shoulder up. You just flipped your shoulder forward, Damien. Roll it back. Such a tricky grip. You just spun it around. There, hold your ankle from the inside. That's it. If you need to hold them on the outside, that's good too. And then kick forward and kick back so that you pull your body apart from thumb. You got it rooted through chest to thumb. Take your time. Now bring a little more breathing. Stay with it. You got it. When you start to think about other things, that's when it goes. Just stay with your gaze and stay with your breath. Now drive the standing foot down into the floor and the kicking foot up to the ceiling. Just take yourself to the edge of the pose for you. If you fall out, just have a sigh and rebuild the pose. Wherever you are, 5 more breaths. Right in it for 5 more. 4. 3 more. Biggest reach. Don't give up right now. Stretch. 1 more. Feet on the floor, hands on your hips, and breathe. Take a sigh. Sometimes you have to challenge yourself to do it a little bit differently in intensity than you always do. Tree pose is next. You can take any variation. Sole of your right foot to your left inner thigh or below your knee and hands to prayer position. Just press your palms together. I like working a lot of different ways, but pressing my palms together, I find that just like closes up when I'm scattered and I can't hold my balance and my mind's all over the place. Just pausing to press the palms seems to bring it all together and settle it. Switch sides. Right foot down, left foot up. Steady, steady breathing. Even through here where it seems like I don't need my breath so much, I could kind of turn that off. Maybe turn it down, but keep it going. 1 more breath. Step out and come to the front of your mat. When you're there, inhale and sweep your arms overhead. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Halfway lift, low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot to the inside of your right hand. Open up into triangle pose. Right away into the pose and breathe. Start to build it in your attention from your feet. Press all 4 corners of both feet down into the mat, especially the knuckle of your front foot's big toe. Let there be a lot of length in your front inner thigh. 1 more breath here. Come on up to standing. Turn to face the long right side of your mat. Hands to your hips and lift your chest up. Forward fold. Walk your fingertips in front of you and balance just your fingertips on the floor, cupping your palms, and then ease the weight back to your heels. Create it so there's maximum stretch from your fingertips up through your armpits and your ribs to your hip creases. And then breathe. Let just that ballooning quality of your lungs expanding and relaxing start to open some space between your ribs. Even take a big breath with a sigh. Intend that all of the side of your body gets long and soft. And then walk your hands back to the center. Come up to standing. We'll face the front of the mat for the standing single leg forward fold. That's 2 hands on hips. So feet, you need some length and some width. Lift your chest up. You might need to soften your front knee, but fold. You'll see right away that right in the middle of your hamstrings, you feel the stretch, and then it extends up to your heel and sitting bone, all the way down, fingertips on the floor. Stretch your belly down your thigh, your chest to your knee. Tuck your chin and let your head and neck be long. There should be a lot of stretch in the front leg from your heel all the way up through the back of your leg to your hip. You can balance the weight evenly between your 2 feet. 1 more breath here. Twisting triangle. Keep the legs. Left fingertips on the blocker floor under your left shoulder. Keep your hips pulling back to the back of your mat and then start to turn to the right. A little softness to your front knee works fine. drag your right hip back. Just keep dragging it back. So front big toe down, hip crease back. And then as you're breathing, you can be lengthening your back left ribs. That's it, Lisa. And turn. One more inhale. Open your top shoulder and exhale. Hands to the floor, step to downward dog, and step your left foot forward for triangle pose. Right inside of your left hand with your foot. And then open up your body. See if it can just be as simple as that for you. A step and an open. Then check in with your front leg's inner thigh. Do you feel this? Is there an intensity there for you to work with your breath? If not, keep pressing your big toe down. Could get really interesting by lifting your 10 toes in the air and just getting very acquainted to the corners of your feet. There you go. Few more breaths. Maybe what's available still is to just let your top shoulder open. Let's go for one more breath here. Full breath with the exhale. Then come on up to standing. Hands to your hips and face the long right side of your mat. Forward fold. Once you get down into the fold, you can put your hands on the floor front and center and start walking your feet out further and further and further till they get out there till their maximum, whatever that is for you, but they stay flat on the floor and pointing forward. Just walk your feet wider, 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 wider. You might be able to balance down on your forearms. Some of you may find yourself in a whole side split. Just stay right here and breathe. Hopefully from your arches all the way up your inseam, you feel stretching. Use the sighs if the sighs are a tool for you where you find that you can make a little more space. And then when you recognize there's more space, work with that space. Take yourself to an edge. An edge is a space where there's sensation, but that sensation is something you can work with your breath. And then toe heel your feet back together until you can come up to standing and face the front of your mat. Hands on your hips, so it's now left leg forward for standing, single leg forward fold, and hinge in your hips. Once you get your belly folded down your thigh, reach to your back foot on either side of your front leg as far as you can, and bring your forehead to your shin. Even weight between your front and back foot. And then just keep your breath flowing. Feel what you feel in your body. Be just aware of what's going on, what you're feeling in all the parts. And then work with what you've discovered. Find one part that's most interesting. Work with that part with your breathing. And as you work with one part, you work with the whole. Twisting triangle. Your right arm can stay reaching to the floor. Pull your hips back. Before you take the turn at all, pull your hips back. And then the default is to look around behind you. Actually look to more of the front left corner of your space. That's it. So there becomes this length from your left hip pulling back and the notch of your neck. Then breathe and stretch the back right ribs long and turn. 2 more. Last one. Hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Step back to downward dog and stretch. Then come to the high plank and hold the high plank position. Right here in high plank, breathe. Set your feet wide so they're really steady. Hands underneath of your shoulders. Keep breathing. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, touch your right knee to your right elbow and then take it back to the back of the mat. And then your left knee to your left elbow and take it to the back of your mat. And keep going like that. Right side, left side. Right side, left side. Right side, left side. Keep on going. 10 more times. 9 more times. 8, 7. It's easier if you stretch. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stretch out in your plank. Look forward. Keep looking forward. Lower down to your belly while you're looking forward. Locust pose. You can reach your arms out behind you like airplane wings. Set your feet up on purpose however you want to. Toenails pressing down or toes turned under. All you need here is length. You might want to roll your shoulders back a couple of times and get a little bit more space. Then take another breath in and relax back down to the mat. You can bend your knees and reach back and hold your ankles from the outside. Just roll your shoulders back. Use your leg strength to kick back and up. So you'll want to keep your knees only hip width distance. That takes a little bit of extra effort for sure, and you might not kick up quite so high. Once you get into your maximum, there's probably going to be a lot of stretching across your chest and the fronts of your shoulders. Put your attention there, and as you breathe, expand and relax the area. Yeah, I find sometimes too, I like to move my chin from side to side as I discover the new space in my neck. Come on down. You can move your feet from side to side. Let's do a second set. Bend your knees and reach back and hold your ankles. Kick back and kick up. Right within the rhythm of your breath, get right on purpose and go to work. You knew already you were discovering something about your chest, your upper back, and your neck. What next? What now? What's here in a second set for you? Breath by breath, you're changing everything about your whole body, your whole disposition even, everything about your mood and emotions, breath by breath. One more inhale. On the exhale, relax back down. Now put your hands on the floor by your bottom ribs and roll your shoulders back. Then inhale, come into upward facing dog. Exhale, move back into downward facing dog. You can kneel down for camel pose, knees on the mat. Keep letting your knees sink down, hands go on your hips. From there, you can lift up. So any sense of pelvis tilting forward, we want to remove that and have it in a neutral position. Knees down and chest up. Get as much length there as you can. You can keep rolling your shoulders back, knees down and chest up. And then expand your chest and upper back as you breathe. And then if there's a little more, you can reach for your heels. But you still want the stretch of knees down and chest up. That's it. Lift the pit of your belly for many of you. When you take your next inhale, use it to lift your body up out of the pose. Then bring your hands to the floor for downward facing dog. Stretch back. You can bend and straighten your knees and have this quality of just pulling your hips out of your hands. Then jump through your hands, sit down and roll onto your back. When you're on your back, get set up for bridge pose by bending your knees, setting your feet hip width distance on the floor under your knees. Press into your feet and lift your torso up into bridge pose. Tuck your shoulders under your back by rocking side to side, just tuck them under, and you can interlace your hands and press your elbows straight. And see what there is to see here. Check your whole body out. See what it's up to today in the pose. Find the areas that are dull and discover what it would take to wake them up. One more inhale and an exhale to come back down, knees side to side. Let's set it up again. Number 2, press down, rise up. Once you get your shoulders set deep, fingertips to the ceiling, flex your wrists and put your hands on the floor under your shoulders. Setting them wide and putting them awkwardly deep is a good way to start. Then press down and rise up. In the 40 days program, we're already in week 4, and one of the laws we're working with is this quality of remove the rocks. Identify whatever's in your way in this pose and get that out of your way. And then see what's available to you. One more breath. Tuck your chin and come on down, knees side to side. And then in your head, your breath, stay in the game. Set up the next one. Hands and feet on the floor. Press down and rise up. Just go for it. Bridge pose if feels not the right pose for your body for some reason. If you feel like there's this whole like knees moving wide, like hardness in the quads and the front of the pelvis, just soften a little bit. One more breath. Tuck your chin and come down, knees side to side. We're going to take 2 more of these, so get right back to your setup position, press down and rise up. Right back up into it. Press down, rise up. Breathe 5 breaths here. Steady breaths with nice long exhales. When you feel like you got to go, see if you can relax just for one more breath. And at the end of it, tuck your chin and come on down. Knees side to side, and we'll take the last one. Get set up. Hands, feet on the floor. Press down, rise up. This is the last one. A lot of times I like to tippy toe and walk my hands in closer to my feet. When they get comfortable there, press the heels back down and get more stretch in the quads. One more breath. Tuck your chin, come on down, Supta Baddha Konasana. So soles of your feet together, knees open wide. You can rest your arms wherever it feels comfortable for you right now. And then just do an internal check-in. How is it for you inside of your skin right now? What are the sensations? What's the mood that's showing up? Just feel what you feel. Then hug your knees into your chest. Hold the outer edges of your feet and pull your knees back to your shoulders and rock side to side for happy baby pose. Could feel really nice on your lower back. Maybe a little bit higher than your lower back. Depends on how the whole thing shapes up. And then hug your knees one more time. Legs straight up into the air and flex your feet so you can see your toenails. Then with your fingertips, reach toward your toenails. The whole idea here is this box of your abdominals stays anchored. It doesn't rock and pump up and down, so it's a very controlled movement. Take a breath in. Exhale, deepen your abdominal muscles and reach for your toenails. Just like that. Breathe in. Maybe you really breathe out through your mouth and reach. So bring your fingers to your toes rather than your toes to your fingers. Go for 10, 9, 8. Every exhale is a chance to just deepen and reach higher. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug your knees. Right leg can hover long in front of you above the floor. Left leg in the air. As you peek up there at your right toes, point them to the ceiling rather than out to the side. And then curl up. Reach your right baby fingers over to your left baby toe. Every time you exhale, reach a little higher. Just go right here 10 times. The idea still is that this box of your core stays anchored and you're deepening. As you're reaching up, can you feel one side contracting and working and one side stabilizing? Keep on going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug your knees. Now let's do the other side. Set it up. You know how to do it. Get ready to go and start to practice. You got it. Take a quick peek down at the toes that are hovering in the air. Are they still pointing straight up? Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7. Use your breath. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug your knees. Rock back and forth a few times. Just back and forth, all the way up into boat pose. You can do a boat pose hugging your knees, holding behind your thighs, straight knees, bent knees. It's up to you. Lift your chest. You got it. Now consider this high boat. Take a breath in. Pull your belly in. Go to low boat. That's just your body hollow hovering on the floor. Take a breath in. Exhale, come to high boat. Breathe in. Exhale, go low. Breathe in. Exhale, come high. Breathe in, pull your belly back, go low. Breathe in, pull your belly back, come high. 2 more. Low boat, high boat, low boat, high boat. Hug your knees, rock back and forth a few times, and through to downward facing dog. Once you get to the downward facing dog, right side pigeon pose, right knee forward. Set this pose up so there's a lot of feedback in your body. Not your knee, but definitely your hip. So there are a lot of variations. If you're just not sure what's right for you, you can look around the room. There's an opportunity to do it sitting up or lying on your back if for some reason your knee bothers you when you're doing it face down. And then if you know that this gets kind of easy for you, more squaring of your shin to the front of the mat, Or with your left hand, gather your left ankle, and when you fold, take your heel with you. Put yourself in the space of a position where you'll need to breathe. Use the pose and your breath to open up into a whole different and deeper level of understanding your space and your skin right now. What does that mean? I don't know. That sensation right there can become an anchor for your attention. And then it can become an opening as you breathe and start letting the sensation dissipate and more space be created. Then sit on your right hip and swing your left leg around for double pigeon. So your right leg, that'll stay on the bottom. Flex your ankle. And instead of your heel being in close to your hips, bring it out parallel to your knee. Top leg on the top, you could put a block under your hip and move your hips back for everybody. And for everybody, flexed ankles. Many of you will be working to sit up tall, and if you look around the room, you can see a lot of variations. The bottom leg could be straight. Some of you, it's time to lean forward. All of you could press on your feet and activate the four corners of your feet as you're folding. Such a good pose. I love this one. Then once you get here, instead of just waiting for it to be over, use your breath to discover a part of your body that you hadn't understood in the pose before. Maybe it's something about your hips or how you breathe. Maybe it's in your lower back that there's an opportunity for you. Let's do one more breath in the pose. And then take the left side pigeon pose. Keep your left leg forward, swing your right leg around behind you, and set up the pigeon pose. There are a million different ways to enter any pose, so you can go for it in the way that's best for you. Set it up so there's a quality of intensity. If you want, one way to add intensity is to turn your back toes under and activate your back leg. A different way is to hold your back ankle, and when you fold, bring your ankle with you toward your hip. Do you feel that, Caroline? Okay. Just checking. Can you feel how your whole left lower back is opening up right now? When you breathe, it's not just your lungs and ribs that expand, but something is changing in your whole body. So just while you breathe and your attention is on your left lower back, I would intend that there was more space occurring, that there was some quality of healing occurring in my body as I was holding this pose. I would open up to the possibility of having a very healthy body. Then you can sit on your left hip and swing your right leg around and set up the double pigeon on this side. So many ways to customize every single pose. This is one of those poses where you look around the room and it's like every single person's doing it differently, and that's just right for each person. And it's perfect. Hips behind you for every way that the pose is getting set up. Maybe fingertips on the floor so you can just lift up out of your lower back. If folding forward is what's next, add that. And there should be a lot of sensation now in both hips. Nothing in the knees. If you ever were doing hip openers and you were feeling them in the knees, that would be a time to raise your hand so the teacher could come over and help you with it. So you want your knees to be out of the equation. Just one more breath here. Then you can release this double pigeon and roll onto your back. And then you've got some choices here. You could lie flat on your back with your legs straight up in the air or roll your feet overhead to plow pose. All the way overhead. And set up a stable foundation underneath of your shoulders, hands to your lower back for support. even in this pose, which can be a little bit awkward, you should still be able to have access to breathing. Each time you take yourself one step deeper, just check in with your breath. Can you still breathe? That's always a good clue to check in with when you're deepening a pose. You're welcome. If you're in the shoulder stand, bring your feet to the floor for plow pose. And then for everyone, come out of this pose slowly, one bone at a time, so you're all of the way onto your flat back. Then hug your knees into your chest. Drop your knees to the left and look to the right. From here, switch sides. Let the pose feel good in your body. Come to the center, lie flat on your back, then soles of your feet. Oops, sorry, Damien. Knees drop out. Take a moment and a breath here to let your pelvis be in a neutral position. Your shoulders to be supportive on the floor. And you do have a cool eye towel. I don't know if that will feel good or not today. Nearby that you're welcome to use. You can place it under your neck or over your eyes. And then once you get settled here in Shavasana, stretch your legs long and wide. Once you're settled, take a deep breath in. Exhale through your mouth. And let your body just get heavy. Let the floor support you. Take a deep breath in. Exhale through your mouth and squeeze your fingers on your toes. Then roll your head from side to side. Bring your knees into your chest and roll to your side. And then bring yourself up to a sitting position. You can keep your eyes closed and sit however it feels comfortable in your body. Once you're settled into your seat, reach your arms overhead. Bring your hands to prayer position at the center of your chest and just pause right here. Give yourself a moment to feel what you're feeling in your body right now and in your mood and in your emotions from the work that you just did. And set an intention for the rest of your day. One more time, we'll chant together. Take a deep breath in. Bring your thumb knuckles to the center of your forehead. Inhale and exhale. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Such a pleasure to spend a Saturday morning together. If I don't have you on the attendance sheet yet, come on out and check in. Otherwise, I'll see you maybe Wednesday at 4 or together on our mats. Have a good rest of the day, and watch out for that St. Patrick's Day celebration. It's going to be a lot of fun. March 19th. Joining.